Uh, yeah, just imagine a life with no struggles, a secure job for the rest of our days, and a business devoid of any sort of risk. It sounds quite appealing, no, doesn't it? It sounds very appealing. Yet, if we reflect on our past, and can we pinpoint anyone who has achieved such a this idyllic sort of existence? The truth is, regardless of wealth or blessings and challenges, are not inherent part of life. We can take an example of Arjun. Despite Arjuna, he was a greatest fighter among the fighters in those days, and despite of being his friend Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who is speaker of Srimad Bhagavad Gita himself, was always on his side. More often than that, these challenges are actually merely manifestation of changes. We can see, because Arjuna, he's supposed to be, he was sometimes we think about having a job with secure job throughout our life, or life without no without any struggles, or business devoid of risk and enough money and everything. But we can see the example that Arjuna, he was among the best warriors. He actually won almost entire world by himself, and he was king, and he had five beautiful wives and who were loving towards him. He had beautiful family. He had the most virtuous brother and most loving five brothers, was protected all around. And on top of that, Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself, the supreme personality of Godhead, who spoke Bhagavad Gita, was by his side already. And still we can see there's so many troubles in the life of Arjun. So it sounds so good, and it sounds so appealing to have the life sort of idealistic life. But if we see that more often all the challenges we face are actually manifestation of the changes instead of the problems. We have to perceive them, or we can see them as a manifestation of changes actually. As I have read it somewhere, I think it's George Bernard, once he told that progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. I think it's by George Bernard Shaw. I'm not sure. I think it's from him. So life is actually dynamic, and the things constantly keep evolving. So no matter how stable we are, or new responsibilities, changing the family dynamics, and industry competition will this inevitably cross our path always. Uh, this actually, like, we want to have the business with no risks, or job without any risks, and all those things we think about. But no industry is immune, and no occupation is ever safe. Actually, we must cultivate inner strength and resilience and adaptability to the this navigate the life's twists and turns. So our mind possesses, actually, our mind, it possesses incredible power. This power, we have that incredible power capable of finding of a way forward in any sort of situation. The brain, as highly structured yet extremely, it's flexible. It's not a blank slate, but when it's written, and neither it's written in the stone either. So our mind possesses that incredible power capable of finding a way forward in any sort of situation. Similarly, our brain, as highly structured it is and looks, the complexities feels, still it's extremely flexible. It's not in the blank state, but it's not written in the stone. It is very flexible. So how we cultivate this flexibility to cope with life's transformation, that's the main thing. Firstly, we should acknowledge that change is only constant, this embrace, we should embrace the fact that life's journey involves stepping out of our comfort zone, with each obstacle presenting an opportunity for our personal growth. And we can consider the analogy or the example of water. uh, we all of us, we have noticed, or we have observed that how water actually flow. It encounters the numerous obstacles but effortlessly adapts, creating its own path. And it adapts the path which is comes on its way, make its way, adopting the easiest path, or the easiest, and which let it grow in its this while it's flowing, which lets it to grow on its path. So we should be like water. We may not always choose life's event, but what we can do is we can choose to be flexible in our approach to the events. Like, events are not always how we choose. We cannot choose the life's event every time. It happens. It comes and goes according to our karma and this system of prarabdha. But what we can do is we can be flexible in the approach to uh, to deal with the incident, or to deal with the events we get. So survival belongs not to the strongest, we should understand, but the most or the most intelligent, but to the most responsive to the change. Those who are most responsive to the changes, they actually survive. Sometimes we feel strongest will survive or the most intelligent will survive, but intelligence and strength, more than that, those who are responsive to the change, they survive. Like water, we should be adaptable. We should adapt the situation without compromising the principle. This without compromising the principle, we should try to, or we should be flexible enough to be adaptive or adaptable when faced with the barriers, attempts to overcome them. But if that fails, we should adjust our course, like river does. If it sees some disturbance or barriers in its path, what water does, try to overcome them. But if it cannot overcome, then it changes its way or adjust its course. So flow like water, be flexible in approach, and don't be afraid to try different path. Indeed, the goal should not be changed, but the path, we can adjust the path. Because if going straight is too difficult, then we can just go around. But our goal should be fixed, or our aim should be fixed. The remaining things, we can be flexible in the approach, and actually we should not be afraid to try different paths if needed. So sometimes being stubborn about our vision, sometimes we try to, instead of being stubborn to the vision and to the goal, we try to be stubborn with the plans. This, we should understand this difference. Being stubborn with our vision, we should be stubborn with our principles, with our vision, with our aim, but we should be flexible with our plans. Generally, what we notice is people are stubborn with their plans. Oh, this is my plan, I should go like this, and I planned it this way, so we should go this way. And they forget about goal already. It's like sometimes we win the battle, but lose the war. So it should not be the situation. The situation should not be winning a battle and losing whole war. Instead, although if we lose a certain battle, the war should be in our side, or war should be in our favor. So that's what we should learn. Basically, the way how we should adapt. So adapting doesn't mean changing our goal or changing our vision, but instead adapting means uh, sometimes need to adjust, or should be adaptive with our plans and the mechanism how we work. So that's basically leads us to the success of life. If we are fearful with the change, or if we fear the change and be stubborn and don't be adaptive with the changes, then that going to create the breakdown. So instead of being hunted by the breakdown, we should try to learn, or we should try to have that flexibility to adjust, or to be flexible, or to be adaptive with the changes that arrives due to different circumstances in our life. So that's how we should be flexible, and that's how we actually can attain our goal. At last but not least, plans may change, and um, the change in the plans with the change in the plan, the plans may get more refined or be adjusted as needed. Failure to follow the specific plan doesn't equate to failed in the vision. So what we should understand is consider the resilience of trees in the storm, that one that bends when storm is there actually survive, while the rigid one get break. So in conclusion, what we can say is that we should empty our mind with the stress and troubles and what other things about. We should be formless, shapeless like water, be water, and try to flow like water. That will create that will show you the path of success. Hare Krishna.